It's been a week since the massacre in Newtown. Today, the National Rifle Association waded into the debate over gun control with a strange press conference. The group's CEO, Wayne LaPierre, blamed laws banning guns at schools for the violence. His position? More guns. The NRA called for putting an armed guard at every school in the country.
The only way to stop a monster from killing our kids is to be personally involved and invested in a plan of absolute protection. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. I call on Congress today to act immediately to appropriate whatever is necessary to put armed police officers in every single school in this nation, and to do it now.
Exactly, to train thousands of armed guards. And what would it accomplish? Would one armed person really have been able to stop last week's killer with his semi-automatic rifle and body armor? Steve Seibold is the author of the book Sex, Politics, and Religion, and MSNBC political analyst David Corn is the Washington bureau chief for Mother Jones magazine. Mr. Seibold, are you comfortable with what the NRA put forward today?
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is the only answer. More guns equals less crime. I mean, if we don't arm the teachers, if we don't have guards at the schools, this is going to happen again. There's no question about it, whether we do this or not, but at least the teachers have a fighting chance. At least they have a fighting chance to save those little kids. And I mean, this is just something we have to do. Unfortunately,
I don't want to read into this. Do I understand your view to be that it would be a requirement for teachers? What if I'm a teacher who doesn't want to carry a firearm? I'm not proficient and I want nothing to do with guns.
I don't want my kid in your class then, because my kid's in danger because of what's happening. I'll send my kid to another school where the teacher is willing.
So to a young person today who's pursuing a career in education, maybe going to college with that desire because they want to school young people, they would also need to be trained and comfortable with the idea of carrying a weapon.
Unfortunately, this is the world we live in.
By that logic,
this is not a panacea.
One last thing, David. By that logic, then why not arm the students as well?
Because the students are children. You don't arm children.
You arm adults. An 18-year-old high school senior. I mean, by your logic, they too should all be carrying weapons. And the lunch ladies and the bus driver.
No, but I think the college kids should be armed. Absolutely, if they want to. They have the right to protect themselves. The government cannot protect us. They can't be everywhere all the time.
David,
the government, this is delusional thinking.
Corn,
it's difficult.
It's such a complicated subject, and I hate to play into the soundbite mentality that this week has become. We're 5% of the world's population, and we've got 50% of the guns.
You know, I think today the NRA planted a flag on Planet Bizarro. I hate to use a soundbite like that, but we have more guns in this country, and we have more gun violence in this country than any other Western industrialized nation. And they don't see a link. And in fact, what they then say is, we need more guns, like our guest just said. That's the world we live in. No, we live in a world where everyone around the country has mentally deranged people. They have violent video games, violent movies, violent music, as we do, but yet they don't have the number of guns we have, and strikingly, oddly enough, they don't have the same gun violence that we do. I don't know why that point escapes Wayne LaPierre and our guest on the show tonight.
Mr. Seibold, I feel naive. I really thought that today, because the NRA said they were bringing forth contributions, I expected the NRA to embrace universal background checks. I thought that the NRA might actually get out in front of a ban on military-style assault weapons. I don't think today's message played so well, which is what David is saying in Middle America.
The problem is not the NRA. The problem is we're having the wrong conversation, as usual in this country. We should be talking about mental illness, not guns. Normal people don't shoot people. They don't go massacre a bunch of children.
But what I'm trying to say is that the mentally ill have free access to our weapons. The New York Times today had a front-page story about the Swiss cheese nature of the FBI's record-keeping pertaining to those who have mental illness or those who shouldn't carry a weapon because of their criminal illness.
Listen, Michael, the NRA, this is what Wayne LaPierre today said. He talked about mental illness. They are opposed to background checks on people who go to gun shows those who sell guns from one to each other privately, not through gun stores. So it doesn't matter.
I know. I was shocked about that.
This was brazen hypocrisy.
I wish we had more time. Thank you, David Corn. Thank you, Steven Seibold. When we return, allow me to finish with Zero Dark 30, that great new movie about getting bin Laden and the difference one person can make. You're watching Hardball, the place for politics.